It's quite intriguing to observe the shifting stance of the European Union, EU, regarding Niger. They seem to have realized that imposing blanket sanctions on Niger may not be the most effective approach. This realization comes amid concerns that their initial intent was merely to sanction the country without considering the consequences. Blanket sanctions, particularly in this context, often prove ineffective. When an entity claims to provide humanitarian aid to a nation and subsequently withdraws support due to a change in government, it raises questions about its true intentions. It suggests that their initial commitment to assisting the people may not have been genuine, as the situation hasn't fundamentally changed due to the government transition. Therefore, the recent statement by Mr. Josep Fontelles, the EU Vice President for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, indicating a continuation of humanitarian aid in Niger, is indeed a positive development. Furthermore, the EU is now inclined to pursue targeted sanctions, as suggested by Germany, focusing on the key actors responsible for the military coup in Niger. While these actions are referred to as aid, they seem to come with certain conditions, almost like financial leverage used to influence policy decisions. This approach can be seen as transactional and may not always align with the principles of genuine aid. Interestingly, the EU and other foreign donor agencies appear to employ a different standard when dealing with African nations, in contrast to countries with worse political situations. This dual standard raises concerns about whether Africa is held to a higher level of scrutiny. The use of blanket sanctions can often backfire, as they tend to unite the citizens in support of their leaders, regardless of how those leaders came into power. Sanctions can inadvertently trigger a sense of patriotism among the people, who may perceive the sanctions as unjust. In many cases, citizens lack a comprehensive understanding of international politics and may interpret the sanctions as an attack on their nation for no apparent reason. Nigerians have recently expressed their sentiments, stating that they no longer wish to receive humanitarian aid from the EU or other donor agencies. They believe they are capable of addressing their problems independently, viewing external aid as exploitative. This sentiment has manifested in protests at the French military base and the embassy, where Nigerians are calling for foreign entities to leave their country. The situation surrounding the military coup in Niger has led to a complex international response. Comparatively, the EU's response to a coup in Gabon was more tempered, acknowledging legitimate concerns about the preceding election. It seems that the international community is slowly accepting the reality that the ousted president may never be reinstated, and military intervention is increasingly unlikely. Despite the heavy opposition to military intervention, particularly from the African Union and ECOWAS, France appears reluctant to evacuate its embassy in Niger. This reluctance has raised concerns that France may be seeking a pretext for military intervention. The protests at the embassy and the insistence on not evacuating the premises have heightened tensions. Amid this standoff, it's worth considering whether the situation may escalate further, potentially leading to accusations of France invading Niger. The Nigerian military has cited Vienna Convention articles to justify their actions against the French embassy. In light of these developments, it appears that Macron's stance may be causing further provocation. The situation at the embassy remains volatile, and France's continued presence in Niger raises questions about its intentions. Western countries often approach negotiations with a mentality of superiority, especially when dealing with African nations. They tend to assert their influence and may attach conditions to their aid or agreements that favor their interests. This unequal approach has driven many countries in Africa to seek alternative partnerships, such as those with China, which often prioritize mutual respect and business relationships over political interference. It is indeed perplexing that the motives behind the Nigerian coup remain unclear, particularly given that Bazoum's election appeared to be relatively fair compared to recent elections in other African countries. However, it's essential to emphasize that military coups are not the ideal solution, and regional bodies like ECOWAS should work to ensure that member states uphold democratic principles and the rule of law, even in the face of constitutional amendments. Preventing incumbent presidents from benefiting from tenure extensions can be a critical step in reducing the occurrence of coups in West Africa. If you are watching our video for the first time, I suggest you subscribe to our channel for more interesting and captivating information. Turn on the bell notification to get alert on all our recent posts so you won't miss out any. Share your thought in the comment section and share these videos with family, friends, and concerned Nigerians. Thanks for watching.